Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to completely rethink everything you thought you knew about money blocks. Okay, get this. It's a totally surprising fact, but your brain actually processes financial threats in the exact same region where it processes physical danger. Crazy, right? So if you've ever felt like you're constantly getting in your own way financially, like maybe you suddenly overspend right after getting a well-deserved raise, or you literally freeze up completely when it's time to just log in and check your bank account. Well, I want you to hear this loud and clear. Looking at this through a trauma-informed lens, your financial self-sabotage is likely a biological trauma response. It is absolutely not a character flaw. In psychology, we see that our relationship with money is deeply, deeply wired right into our nervous system. So today, we're going to unpack exactly how that works and, way more importantly, how we can actually heal it.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Have you ever noticed that you can earn money or successfully save it up, but then almost immediately lose it to some sort of unexpected expense? It's like suddenly needing 4 brand new tires the exact same week you finally get that bonus at work. Or, maybe you know literally all the budgeting and manifestation techniques in the world, but you just kind of can't stay regulated long enough to actually use them. It's incredibly frustrating. And what do we usually do? We tend to blame ourselves, right? We think we just lack discipline or willpower, but the actual reality here is that when your nervous system is stuck in survival mode, your body literally cannot hold on to abundance.
Now, to really wrap our heads around this, we have to look at the crucial difference between normal financial stress and actual financial trauma. See, financial stress is situational. It's that immediate anxiety you feel when a surprise bill hits your mailbox. But the thing is, once that bill is paid, the stress goes away. Financial trauma, though, that is an entirely different beast. It happens when acute or chronic financial experiences completely exceed your capacity to cope. And it fundamentally rewires how your brain processes money. Financial therapist Nathan Askell explains this perfectly. He says your nervous system basically stops responding to the reality right in front of you, and it starts responding to the financial pain of your past. You're basically seeing tigers out there where there are none. Your body is reacting to a mundane bank statement as if it were an actual physical predator coming right at you.
And that brings us to a really fascinating, but admittedly super painful, survival response called functional freeze. Technically, this is a state of chronic dorsal vagal shutdown, but what does that mean in plain language? Well, it essentially means your nervous system is running on its absolute lowest power mode. You remain mobilized just enough to physically show up to work, maybe manage some complex projects, and even force a smile at a dinner party. But internally, you are profoundly numb, apathetic, and totally paralyzed. So you look completely fine on the outside, but you feel absolutely stuck on the inside. Actually, so many driven, really ambitious people operate entirely from this state when they're dealing with their finances, and they completely mistake their biological paralysis for just sheer laziness.
So, you might be wondering, where exactly does this deep-seated trauma even come from? Well, very often, it traces straight back to our early childhood conditioning. Take this really powerful story from a Reddit user we found in a complex PTSD support group. They shared that whenever they received $1 as a little kid, their narcissistic mother would immediately snatch it away, constantly telling them that they were a financial drain on the family. Now, this early conditioning taught their young nervous system a totally devastating lesson. Having money just wasn't safe, and their very existence was framed as this intolerable burden. Fast forward decades later, and they found themselves actively sabotaging their own earning potential. They were completely unable to save, and just trapped in this chronic freeze response. That specific childhood dynamic creates what psychologist Gay Hendricks calls the burden barrier. Think about it. If the early message you receive was that your basic needs were a burden to your caregivers, the adult result is this immense, heavy guilt with virtually every single purchase you make. Your subconscious reaction becomes self-sabotage, constantly ensuring you never take up too much space or accumulate too much wealth, all to avoid being that burden ever again. To heal this, trauma-informed psychology uses this amazing both-and approach. Basically, we hold 2 truths at once. We acknowledge that, hey, this freeze response was actually a brilliant survival strategy that kept you safe when you were a helpless kid. And we also recognize that it's now actively costing you your financial growth and your independence as an adult.
Now, what's really interesting about all this subconscious self-sabotage is a concept known as the upper limit problem. So every single one of us has this invisible internal thermostat setting, and it dictates exactly how much success or love or wealth we allow ourselves to enjoy. The kicker is, once things start going too well and we hit that upper limit, our nervous system gets deeply, deeply uncomfortable. We then unconsciously manufacture all these painful thoughts or destructive behaviors just to dial the success back down to a level of stress that feels familiar and safe to our traumatized brains. It's wild, right?
And there's another really powerful barrier tied right into this called the crime of outshining. This happens when we unconsciously restrict our earning capacity because, well, we were taught that shining too brightly makes the people around us look or feel bad. Let me share this absolutely heart-wrenching example from the source material. There was a young piano prodigy who was gifted a grand piano by his parents. As he sat down to play, literally weeping with joy, his mother turned to him and said, "We would never have been able to afford this if your sister hadn't died." In that split second, his immense joy was permanently fused with this devastating guilt and grief. And because of that, for the next 40 years, every single time he had a breakthrough to more success, he was instantly gripped by guilt and completely sabotaged it.
So, if you want to stop this cycle, you've got to learn how to spot your own personal upper limit behaviors in real time. Here's a quick step-by-step guide to recognizing what this sabotage actually looks like for you. First off, you might experience chronic worrying, even when your bank account is completely fine. Or maybe you find yourself engaging in relentless self-blame. Oh, here's a big one, getting physically sick, like suddenly coming down with a nasty cold or laryngitis right after a huge financial win. Even deflecting compliments or picking a totally random argument with your partner over some minor purchase. These are all classic, sneaky ways our brains subconsciously crimp the flow of positive energy just because we've hit our upper limit.
But recognizing the block is really only the first step. The absolutely critical mistake that most people make is trying to use a spreadsheet to fix a nervous system issue. You cannot out-budget a dysregulated brain. You absolutely cannot think your way out of a trauma response. When you get financially triggered, your prefrontal cortex, that's the logical, rational decision-making part of your brain, it literally just goes offline. So any cognitive financial advice completely fails a traumatized or neurodivergent brain if the nervous system isn't regulated first. You absolutely must regulate your body before you even try to problem-solve your budget.
Okay, so how do we actually regulate? We use somatic tools, which basically just means body-based tools. I want to slow down for a sec here and walk you through a really simple somatic exercise designed by practitioner Bryn Bamber. It is absolutely perfect for staying calm when you're handling bills or facing unexpected money challenges. Okay, first, just locate where you feel tension or pain or even just a numb heaviness in your body. Got it? Second, breathe gently right into that specific spot. Don't try to force it to change or go away, just get a little curious about it. Third, place your hand gently on that area of tension. And finally, just listen to your body's impulse. Does it like the hand there, or does it kind of want you to pull it away? Whatever it is, follow that impulse. This incredibly simple act of bodily autonomy starts to thaw out that freeze response and sends a direct signal of safety straight to your brain.
Now, to truly sustain these feelings of success and abundance, you've got to incorporate some daily habits that gently expand your nervous system's capacity over time. Try practicing somatic awareness using micro-movements, something as simple as wiggling your toes or rolling your neck while you're checking your emails. You can also practice what Gay Hendricks calls benign vigilance. This means just watching your worry thoughts with a relaxed, easy curiosity, so you can catch them super early, way before they start to spiral. Consciously remind your body that the danger from the past is over and you are totally safe right now. And this is crucial. Practice just letting natural, good feelings actually land. When something goes right financially, don't deflect it. Feel it right in your chest and let your system get used to the sensation of things actually going well.
And this brilliantly illustrates the exact shift we're trying to make here. When we're triggered by trauma, we fall straight into a functional freeze or totally avoid the issue. Our internal focus gets entirely consumed by self-blame and deep shame. And our actions usually look like either hoarding every single penny out of pure fear or overspending because we're just completely dysregulated. But when we regulate and shift into healthy growth, which we like to call your genius zone, your response to that exact same trigger becomes somatic awareness. Your internal focus shifts over to benign vigilance, which lets you catch the sabotage early. By shifting away from all that self-blame, you allow yourself to access your natural genius, and your actions become all about celebrating your success and comfortably holding on to your abundance.
So, what does this all mean? The absolute crucial takeaway here is this. As trauma-informed practitioners, we really want you to stop pathologizing yourself. Those strategies that are sabotaging you today, they are literally the exact same brilliant strategies that kept you safe when you were young. They are not signs that you're broken or lazy or just inherently bad with money. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. What if your financial blocks aren't a sign of failure at all, but are simply an old survival program that's just waiting to be gently updated? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Now go take a deep breath, listen to your body, and step confidently right into your genius zone.
That's all for today, beautiful souls. What if the things you keep experiencing in life aren't a coincidence? the same relationship lessons, the same emotional loops, the same numbers appearing at strange times. If that idea intrigues you, I placed something in the description that gives a personalized numerology breakdown. Completely up to you, but it's pretty fascinating. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and follow for more angel number insights, spiritual mindset upgrades, and manifestation wisdom. Thanks for supporting and watching. Have a great day.